Hi students, this is Razika. Welcome to the physics classes. This is the 9th session of the ray optics and optical instruments chapter. Before we go ahead, let's revise what we had discussed in the previous video. So we had discussed mainly refraction through the prism. That is, what is the equation for refractive index of a material of prism, then how the refraction or how to draw the normals when the refraction takes place through the prism, and dispersion phenomena we have discussed. Here dispersion phenomena is being removed from the board syllabus of second PU, but refraction through prism concept is there, which means this refractive index of material of a prism concept is still there in the syllabus. That's a very important derivation. So in today's session, the first thing which we are going to discuss is the natural phenomena due to dispersion. There are many phenomena which takes place because of the dispersion. 2 to 3 I have mentioned here. One is formation of rainbow, another one is different colors of the sky. You may have seen the sky, blue colored sky, reddish, yellowish or orangish colored sky. So the main reason for these colors of the sky as well as rainbow formation is the dispersion. Let's discuss about the first natural phenomena which is caused by the dispersion. So this dispersion is nothing but the phenomena of splitting up of composite light into its constituent colors. If you want to see this rainbow, there is a condition to observe the rainbow. First condition is the observer's back should face the sun, and the sun should be on one side and it should rain on the opposite side, which means the person's back should face the sun and one kade sun idre innond kade it should rain. Okay, only under these two conditions you can observe the rainbow. For example, see, if I change the position of the sun, this pattern of the rainbow will also change, and at some point the rainbow will disappear completely, which means, see, as I can change the altitude of the sun, the position of the rainbow is changing. Fine. So at this position, this person cannot observe the rainbow because the sun is not behind this person, it is over this person. That is why under this condition you cannot observe a rainbow. You might have seen rainbows, sometimes fainter in color or dull in color and sometimes brighter in colors. Those are actually two different types of rainbow. One is primary rainbow, another one is secondary rainbow. Alright. So these primary rainbows will be always bright, whereas the secondary rainbows will be somewhat dull or fainter in colors. And the next question is, how does these rainbow formation take place? So this rainbow is a result of three phenomena. One is TIR, which is total internal reflection, or simply you can call reflection, then refraction, and another one, the last one is the dispersion. Okay. So the rainbow formation is a result of three phenomena: total internal reflection, refraction and dispersion. Now let's discuss about the primary rainbow. Okay. So as you can see here, it is the sunlight, which is obviously white light. So it is traveling from rarer to denser medium. Water droplet will be denser medium. Fine. As you can see, first phenomena, it undergoes refraction. Okay. Then it splits into 7 colors. 2 extreme colors we have represented here. One is red and another one is violet. Okay. And these colors undergo total internal reflection, and once again refraction takes place and they come out like this. Okay. And the rainbow formation takes place like this. So to the observer, these colors reach at different angles. So because of the angles by which the colors are reaching the observer, primary rainbow alli red color top allirutte and violet color will be in the bottom. Fine. Because this reaches at some angle and this reaches the observer at another angle. You have to be very clear here. Primary rainbow will have red color at the top of the rainbow and violet color at the bottom of the rainbow. Okay. So this is about the primary rainbow. Okay. Which will be always brighter. See, the colors are very bright. Now let's see about the secondary rainbow. Secondary rainbow is also the phenomena which is caused by these total internal reflection, refraction and dispersion. But here 2 times total internal reflection takes place. As you can see, here this is 1 time total internal reflection is taking place and another time total internal reflection is taking place. Okay. As a result, the rainbow formation takes place like this. Okay. So here in this rainbow, that is secondary rainbow, the pattern will be dull or fainter and violet color will be on top of the rainbow and red color will be in the bottom of the rainbow. Okay. If I change the angle of this incident ray, then also the pattern changes. Okay. As you can see, the violet will be on the top of the rainbow here in this case and red will be in the bottom of the rainbow. Okay. And this will be dull rainbow. Okay. You can ask why the rainbow will be dull. Because ಇಲ್ಲಿ 2 times total internal reflection ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ energy loss will take place. That is why the output color will be dull with less intensity. Fine. So this secondary rainbow is a 4-step phenomena because here refraction, 2 times total internal reflection and 1 dispersion is taking place. Whereas in primary rainbow, it's a 3-step phenomena where 3 steps are taking place. 1 time total internal reflection, refraction and dispersion. Fine. Sometimes both the rainbow you can observe. That is purely because of the angle of the incident ray and the droplets present in the atmosphere. You might have seen 2 patterns of rainbow at the same time. One rainbow will be dull and another rainbow will be very bright. So this was all about rainbow. The primary rainbow has the red light on the top and violet in the bottom, whereas secondary rainbow has violet at the top and red in the bottom. Primary rainbow is a 3-step phenomena, secondary rainbow is a 4-step phenomena, and primary rainbows are brighter whereas secondary rainbows are fainter. Let's discuss about the second natural phenomena caused because of the dispersion, that is colors of sky. We all have seen the different colors of the sky during sunset and sunrise and during the normal time, that is at noon. Okay, when we observe the sky at noon, it appears to be blue, whereas during sunset or sunrise it appears to be of orange colored or red colored or slightly yellowish color. Fine. So all these things happen because of the dispersion phenomena. Imagine the observer is here in this part of the earth or in this region. At noon, observe this distance. Okay, this distance. The sun rays have to travel a lot. Okay, and this region represents, the cement color region represents the atmosphere, and this atmosphere comprises of many things. It will consist of many types of gases, different types of gases, moisture, water droplet, nothing but, and then pollutants, dust particles, etc. etc. So ಈ ಅಟ್ಮಾಸ್ಫಿಯರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಮಾಯಿಶ್ಚರ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಡಸ್ಟ್ ಪಾರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ಸ್, ವಾಟರ್ ಡ್ರಾಪ್ಲೆಟ್ ಸಸ್ಪೆಂಡ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿಸ್ ಲೈಟ್ ವಿಲ್ show deviation. As we had discussed in the previous video, composite light alli ಎಷ್ಟು ಕಲರ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, 7 ಕಲರ್ಸ್ we will be having, that is violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange and red. And these colors are in the order of increasing wavelength. Violet ಇಂದ red ವರೆಗೂ wavelength ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, increase ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, which means red is having maximum wavelength whereas the violet is having the least wavelength. So ಎಷ್ಟು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ wavelength ಇರುತ್ತೋ ಅಷ್ಟು ಕಮ್ಮಿ deviation ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Fine. And see, since the atmosphere is having many dust particles, illi light will get scattered. Fine. So light scattering takes place here. After violet and indigo, blue will be the maximum color which will spread here in the atmosphere. Why it is getting spread? Because of the deviation produced, because of the scattering here in atmosphere. Fine. You can ask, actually violet and indigo scatter more compared to blue, but why do we see the sky as blue? Because human eyes are more sensitive towards blue color compared to violet and indigo. That is why we see the sky blue during these hours, that is during noon. But what happens during sunset and sunrise anta helidre, see, during sunset and sunrise sun ee kade bandirutte. Okay, which means these are the sun rays, and observe this distance. This is the sun rays which are traveling in the atmosphere. During normal days, only this much distance the light has to travel in atmosphere, whereas during sunset and sunrise it has to travel this much amount of distance, which means it has to travel a large amount of distance. It has to travel a lot. So since the distance in the atmosphere is more, all these colors which are having lower wavelength, violet, indigo, blue, green and all, they will completely scatter and disappear in the atmosphere. ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಕಮ್ಮಿ wavelength ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ atmosphere ಅಲ್ಲಿ they scatter, deviate and disappear completely. Whereas this yellow, orange and red has higher wavelength. So all these colors ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಡಿವಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಸ್ಕ್ಯಾಟರ್ ಆಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಕೊನೆವರೆಗೂ these colors will be there in the sky, that is yellow, orange and red. That is why during sunset and sunrise ನಮಗೆ ಸ್ಕೈ yellow, orange or reddish color ಆಗಿ ಕಾಣಿಸುತ್ತೆ. Fine. So this is the reason for different colors of the sky. Now let's discuss about the optical instruments. Earlier there were 3 optical instruments mentioned in the syllabus. One is eye, another one is microscope and the last one is telescope. Now eye is also removed from the syllabus for second PUC, but it is still there for JEE and NEET examination. So you need to study eye also. Here I will confine the study only to microscope and telescope. What are these optical instruments? These are the devices which help human eye in observation and detailed examination of objects. So ಈ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ರಿಫ್ಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ರಿಫ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಫಿನಾಮಿನಾನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು they produce final images. So these are the devices which help us to observe and to have detailed examination of objects, and these devices and instruments are designed utilizing reflecting and refracting properties of mirror, lenses and prisms. So the first optical instrument which we are going to discuss about is the microscope. There are many types of microscope like electron microscope, then compound microscope, simple microscope, etc. But in your syllabus 2 types of microscopes are mentioned. One is the simple microscope, nothing but a magnifying lens which you can see in the animation. And another one is compound microscope. We will discuss one by one in detail. First we will be discussing about the simple microscope, that is nothing but a magnifying lens, nothing but a convex lens. Before we start discussing about microscope, one should need to know the definition or the meaning of near point or least distance of distinct vision, and we will represent it by capital D, and another term far point. Okay, so one should be having the knowledge of near point as well as far point before getting into the actual concept of microscope and telescope. Actually there were 3 instruments to be discussed in ray optics and optical instruments, but one instrument na syllabus inda tagdidare, that is eye concept na syllabus inda tagdidare, that is board syllabus inda, but it is there in JEE and NEET. Okay, now this near point and far point is actually the concepts related to the eye or for an observer. Fine. So we know few basic things like if the observer is somewhere here, for him or her to see one object, okay, you cannot take the object very close to the eyes. Okay, ನಾವು ಒಂದು ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ನ ಐಸ್ ಇಂದ ತುಂಬಾ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ಲಿ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಬ್ಲರ್ ಆಗಿ ಕಾಣಿಸುತ್ತೆ, isn't it? So if you want to see the object from near, ನಾವು ಒಂದು ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ನ ಮೇಂಟೈನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. You can check by taking your hand very close to the eye, ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆಗಿ ಕಾಣಿಸಲ್ಲ ಅವಾಗ. ದಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಒಂದು ಬ್ಲರ್ಡ್ ಇಮೇಜ್ ಆರ್ ಮಲ್ಟಿಪಲ್ ಇಮೇಜಸ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So we need to maintain certain minimum distance from the eye. Fine. And this minimum distance which we have to observe the object clearly is nothing but the near point. Fine. For a normal human being ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ without any eye defects ಅಂತ, okay, ಅವರಿಗೆ ಈ ಡಿ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಎಷ್ಟಿರುತ್ತೆ, 25 ಸೆಂಟಿಮೀಟರ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ವೆನ್ ಯು ಕೀಪ್ ದ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಟ್ 25 ಸೆಂಟಿಮೀಟರ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸಿ ದ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಇಮೇಜ್ ವೆರಿ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ಲಿ. ಫೈನ್. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದಿಸ್ ನಿಯರ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್? ಇದನ್ನ ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟಿಂಕ್ಟ್ ವಿಷನ್ ಅಂತಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ವಿಚ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ for comfortable viewing or for the clear observation of an object is called as near point. It should be with respect to the eye or the observer. Fine, I'll repeat once again. This near point or the least distance of distinct vision is defined as the closest distance for which the eye lens can focus light on the retina, or the least distance at which an eye can observe the objects clearly is called as near point. Far point anta helidre, as the name itself says, it is the distant point or the most distant point which an object can observe clearly. Okay, maximum limit of view ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಅದನ್ನ ಫಾರ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಜನರಲಿ ಫಾರ್ us the far point is infinity. Okay, so for few numericals related to this eye you can take d value as 25 centimeter and far point value as infinity. Say this convex lens acts as a simple microscope. The simplest form of the microscope is the convex lens. You might have seen many times this convex lens we use for magnifying the very small objects, isn't it? That is particularly in reading purpose. Many of the older generation use this convex lens for reading newspaper. You might have seen it. Fine. So as we all know, this convex lens can produce two types of images. ಈ ಕಾನ್ವೆಕ್ಸ್ ಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ ರಿಯಲ್ ಇಮೇಜ್ ಕೂಡ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಎರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇಮೇಜ್ ಕೂಡ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ ರಿಯಲ್ ಇಮೇಜಸ್ ಆರ್ ಇನ್ವರ್ಟೆಡ್. ಸೊ ಇನ್ವರ್ಟೆಡ್ ಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಓದಕ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ನಾವು ಯಾವ ತರ ಸೆಟ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು, ಈ ಕಾನ್ವೆಕ್ಸ್ ಲೆನ್ಸ್ ನ ಮೈಕ್ರೋಸ್ಕೋಪ್ ಆಗಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ದ ಇಮೇಜಸ್ ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಎರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಹಿಯರ್. ದಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ it should be easy for us to read. And one more thing, ಈ convex lens ಇಂದ images can be formed at infinite point as well as near point. Now we are discussing about the magnification produced by the convex lens when image is formed at near point, which means at a distance of 25 centimeter. Fine. I have taken one convex lens and idanna 3 marks ige they can ask this question for 3 marks. It's a derivation. They'll ask, obtain an expression for magnification produced by convex lens when the image is formed at near point. So first thing what we do is we draw the principal axis for this lens. So I have taken one principal axis, I have drawn principal axis, and this is the focus, this is the optical center. And as I said, idralli erect image barbeku andre where should the object be placed between F and O object na ನೀವು place ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. So in between this region you can place the object. Fine. So somewhere here ನಾನು ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ನ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ and this is a ray passing parallel to the ಪ್ರಿನ್ಸಿಪಲ್ ಆಕ್ಸಿಸ್. ಸೊ ಇದು ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ನಿಮಗೆ, ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ರಿಫ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಪಾಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಥ್ರೂ ದ ಫೋಕಸ್ ಪಾಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Okay, this is another focal point of this lens. And another ray I'll use which is passing through the optical center and it retraces, which means without deviation idu munde hogta irutte. Fine. Erect images hege barutte by extending these refracted rays backwards. Alright. So nan ee ray na I'll extend backwards. Fine. This is actually not the real refracted ray. It is the extended refracted ray. And this ray also I'll extend back. Okay. As you can see, ee extended images yelli join aagta idave at particular point on the same side of the object yav side ittidivo ade same side ee refracted rays, that is the extended refracted rays meet aagta idave. So here you will get the image and ee image hegide magnified ide idu. Okay, so if I name the object as A B, I'll name the image as E dash B A dash B dash. Okay, so this is the ray diagram for this derivation. Object na place ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ ಎಲ್ಲಿ, in between F and O, that is principal focus ಮತ್ತೆ optical center ಮಧ್ಯ somewhere ನಾವು object na place ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. And we know previously already we have discussed ಈ ತರ object na place ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ form ಆಗೋ images erect and virtual ಇರ್ತವೆ. So here I have placed the here the formation of image has taken place and the observer has to be very near to the lens. Once again, somewhere here the observer will be there, here or here or here. Okay, now let me take the distances. So the distance between object and the pole or optical center is u. Idenidu object distance, and image to this, the distance between optical center or pole and the image is called as image distance. Illinda illigiro distance na I'll represent as v, and the distance from here to here I'll represent as u. Let's imagine the observer is somewhere here. Okay, the observer is somewhere here. So let me assume that the image is formed at the near point. So image distance is actually v, but if this is formed at near point, the near point is represented by capital D. So here I will place v is equal to capital D. The derivation is very simple. First we have to consider the relationship between u, v and f of a lens. Here, since you have a lens, I will write 1 by f is equal to 1 divided by v minus 1 divided by u. This is the equation which relates u, v and f of a lens. So this is v represents image distance, u object distance and f the focal length of the lens. I'll rearrange this equation to get 1 by u, which means I am taking this 1 by u this side and I'll send 1 by f this side. So 1 by u will be equal to 1 by v minus 1 by f. This is equation 1. Here the aim of our derivation is to calculate magnification. So magnification definition na use madkoli. M is equal to ratio of size of the object or height of the object to height of the image to height of the object. So h dash by h is the magnification produced by this lens. Fine. And it can also be written as V by U. Okay, magnification can also be written as V by U related to the lens. This is equation number 2. So here in this equation number 2, what I am going to do is I will substitute the value of 1 by U. Say, since M is equal to, you can write it as V into 1 by U. This 1 by U value you need to substitute here, which is from equation number 1, it is 1 by V minus 1 divided by F. So multiply this V with this, V by V minus V divided by F. This and this will get cancelled. You will have M is equal to 1 minus V by F. Okay. Now this V, apply sign convention to this condition. If you apply the sign convention to this condition, what happens? Here this V is equal to minus V, because the light direction is this one, but we have to measure from the pole to this side. Since the image is formed this side, we have to take V as negative. Next, focal length of a convex lens is positive only. Substitute M is equal to 1. Since V is negative, minus into minus plus ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, plus V divided by F. Next, this V from here ನಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ D. So M is equal to 1 plus D divided by F. So this is the expression which is used for magnification produced by the convex lens when the image is formed at near point. M is equal to 1 plus D by F. This D represents what? Near point, which is 25 centimeter. So first ನೀವು ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ray diagram ಬರ್ಕೋಬೇಕು, and this ray diagram should involve the virtual erect image and lens equation use ಮಾಡಿ, that is 1 by F is equal to 1 by V minus 1 by U. ಇದನ್ನ rearrange ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ to get the value of 1 by U. ಆಮೇಲೆ magnification produced by lens equation use ಮಾಡಿ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ 1 by U value ನ substitute ಮಾಡಿ. Fine. Next sign convention apply ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ V negative ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, so ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ negative positive ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, 1 plus V by F, and V since image is produced at near point, V is equal to D ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, so M is equal to 1 plus D by F is the required equation. Now let's discuss the second case, that is the magnification produced by convex lens when image is formed at the far point. We already know far point represent infinite distance. So now we have to calculate when the image is formed at far point, what will be the image magnification produced by this lens. So this question will be asked either for 2 or 3 marks. Either they can ask you to just draw the ray diagram, or they can also ask you to get the magnification expression, sometimes for 5 marks also. Now first of all, here I have taken one convex lens. So this is the principal axis. Here we have already discussed where will the image be formed if the object is placed at focus. In the previous classes already ನಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ, ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ನ ನೀವು ಫೋಕಸ್ ಹತ್ರ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಗೋ ಇಮೇಜ್ ಇನ್ಫೈನೈಟ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಆಪ್ಟಿಕಲ್ center. So to get the image at infinite distance, I have to keep the object here at the focal point, that is at the principal focus. So this is the incident ray passing parallel to the principal axis, and another incident ray passing through the optical center. As we know, refracted ray will not show any deviation. Illi optical center in the incident ray pass adre, it will just pass like a straight line, and A ray which is passing parallel to the principal axis after refraction will pass through the focus. Okay, so this is another focal point of this lens. As you can see, these two rays are actually parallel to each other. So right side they won't meet, they won't give image. Namage gottide when the refracted or the reflected rays meet, then only we can get the image. So here the image will be formed on this side, left side image form agutte. So this red line represent the extended refracted rays, that is appears to meet, we consider. This one also is an extended refracted ray, red lines. You have to draw these red lines in a dotted line. Okay, dotted line bardre it is understood that the rays appear to meet. Light na ನೀವು extend ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ you can use dotted lines. So somewhere at infinite distance ಈ two rays ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ join ಆಗುತ್ತೆ or meet ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, which will give you the image of the object. Okay, so the object name is A, B. The image will be A dash, B dash. I am not going to draw the image because it is understood that if you don't draw the image, ee tara just image draw ray diagram draw ಮಾಡಿ ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಏನಂತ ಅರ್ಥ, that the image is formed at infinite distance ಅಂತ. So image form ಆಗಿರೋ name A dash, B dash, and the distance of image obviously you have to take as V. And ಈ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಏನು, ಇದು ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್. ಇದು ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಇದು ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಫೋಕಲ್ ಲೆಂತ್ ಗೆ ಈಕ್ವಲ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಆಲ್ರೈಟ್, ಹಿಯರ್ ಟು ಡಿರೈವ್ ದ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ಡ್ ಬೈ ಕಾನ್ವೆಕ್ಸ್ ಲೆನ್ಸ್ we will be using the definition of angular magnification. We already know what is the linear magnification. Linear magnification means ratio of size of image to size of object. But here we are representing the magnification in terms of angle. So this magnification or angular magnification is the ratio of size of image to the size of the object. So ಈ theta I ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ here the angle. Alright, here somewhere here the observer will be there and this observer will observe the object image which is formed at infinite distance, and the angle subtended by image, ಈ dead end ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ image ಇರುತ್ತೆ, and the angle created by the image on the eye is nothing but angle subtended by image theta I. Theta I represent angle subtended by the image, theta O represents angle subtended by the object. Okay, next is what is this theta O? Theta O is the angle subtended by object when the object is placed at near point. Okay, now imagine the object is placed from the observer at a distance of D. So what is this D? This is the near point distance. So here we have kept the object at near point and the height of the object is h, and this is the angle subtended by the object. This is theta I and this is theta O. Now what we have to do to get the value of m anta helidre, theta I and theta O values na find out ಮಾಡಿ we need to substitute. So this is equation number 1. See, this is a right angle triangle. So I am gonna define tan theta O, which is opposite side by adjacent side. Opposite is h divided by d. Here theta O is small. Theta O as well as theta I we will be considering as very small angles. we already know angle small idre ee trigonometric function na we have to neglect. So theta O is equal to h divided by d. This is equation number 2. Already namige en bandide theta O value already we have got. We have to calculate the value of theta I now. So again tan theta I we have to take, but since theta is small, I will just take theta I is equal to ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ somewhere like this ಒಂದು right angle triangle form ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, isn't it? Opposite side ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿದೆ a dash b dash ಇದೆ ಅಂತ understood. So a dash b dash is represented by h dash divided by, and ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ a dash b dash ಗಿರೋ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ನ ಇಮೇಜ್ ಡಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, adjacent side. So that will be taken as v with the negative sign, because direction of incident ray ee tara ide and direction of measurement is like this, from this side to this side. Both are opposite, that is why from Cartesian sign convention idu negative barutte. This is equation number 3. Now I'll use expression for magnification. Already previous videos al derive ಮಾಡಿದೆವು ನಾವು. m is equal to h dash by h is equal to v by u. Now take this equation and get the value of h dash. h dash is equal to hv divided by u ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Now ಈ h dash value ನ ಈ equation ಅಲ್ಲಿ substitute ಮಾಡಿ, this will give you theta I is equal to h dash hv by u ಇದೆ into 1 divided by minus v, which is already there in this equation. So v cancel agutte. Theta I will be equal to h divided by minus u. See, u also has sign convention. If you apply Cartesian sign convention, CSC means Cartesian sign convention, if you apply to this condition, again direction of light is this, object distance na illinda left side towards measure ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ. So u will also be negative, minus u. So this equation will be theta I is equal to h divided by minus into minus plus. Now come back to this ray diagram. U is actually f, because object na ನಾವು focus ಹತ್ರ ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀವಿ. That is why object distance will be equal to the focal length. You can write it as theta I is equal to h divided by f. This is equation number 4. We have got the values of theta I as well as theta O. Now consider equation 1, which says m is equal to theta I divided by theta O. Substitute it. M is equal to theta I is h by f whole divided by theta O is h divided by d. This, sorry, not this one, h and h will get cancelled and m will be equal to d divided by f. So this is the final expression which represents the magnification produced by the convex lens when the image is formed at far point. Okay, till here you have to derive. Now consider the equation when the image is formed at near point. It is 1 plus d by f. So this is the expression for when the image is formed at near point. Observe these two equations. Here you have 1 plus d by f, whereas here you have only d by f, which means ನಿಯರ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗಿರೋ ಇಮೇಜಸ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಮ್ಯಾಗ್ನಿಫೈಡ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ವೇರಾಸ್ ದ ಫಾರ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ images are less magnified. But we prefer to see the images at the far point because illi strain on eyes will be less. Here the strain on eyes will be more. Let's discuss about the topics which we have discussed today. We have discussed about the natural phenomena due to dispersion, that is the formation of rainbow and the formation of the blue color of the sky during normal time and the red color of the sky during sunset and sunrise. And we had discussed about optical instrument. Mainly today we had discussed about microscope, that too a simple microscope. Just we have discussed about a convex lens or a magnifying lens. So two possibilities are there: magnification produced by convex lens at near point and magnification produced by convex lens at far point. So this was all for today's video. In the next video we will discuss about the compound microscope and telescope. So keep studying. In case you get any doubts, you can WhatsApp me to my number. Thank you very much for watching.